Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I've already started without you today. Normally I tell you all my jobs I'm going to be doing, but I just wanted to get on today. But today I planned on coming over, clearing a bit of that mess that was at the front of the polytunnel, because it'd been accumulating over winter because I've been moving things around the allotment site. But today we've got progress. What a difference an hour makes, honestly. So as you can remember, this was an absolute jungle of junk, rubbish, and just parts and bits and bobs that I needed ready for the bigger builds. But yeah, I've started clearing through. I've noticed there's a few perennial weeds still underneath it, but I've put all the shed parts here on top of this bed. So if it rains, it won't wash all the nutrients out of that compost. It'll be used sort of like a shed mulch, but it'll be there only for a week or two, but it'll just keep the rain from washing all that compost in. Yeah, and then I want to start filling these two up soon. But the reason I haven't yet is because at the back of the plot, there's a huge mound there, like a bankment. I'm guessing there used to be a compost heap there at some point. So I'm hoping, really hoping that that big mound at the back of there is really nice soil and compost. So fingers crossed for that. This shed is almost at its end because I've been saying it for months, and I don't know if you remember this allotment site when I first took it on. Now I'll take you at the top and then I'll show you an overlay of how it was before and how it is now. So this was the allotment plot when I first took it on, and I mean, as you can see, it was a job and a half, but we've had some progress and look at it now. You know, we've got 6 main beds here, which are 10 foot by 3 foot each. And then I've got obviously had the polytunnel built, and then I've started slowly going down the beds. So this area here eventually will be bed after bed after bed. In the middle area here, I think I'm going to go off design a little bit so that it won't be just row after row. There will be a bit of a few metal raised beds there, but I need to start digging out all these raspberries, all these gooseberries, black currants, and if any of them can be salvaged, then I'll put them into the fruit cage. But that shed needs to go soon. I also want to mulch all these beds. Now, I know that they look okay, but I've noticed a lot of them have sunk down now. Now, this one I won't do yet, the overwintering onions, because I don't want to put compost in and then it rots the onions. But the top garlic one, that can be done. I'm not going to tempt fate with this one here either, the normal garlic, but the elephant garlic. And these 3 beds here now, I'm going to clear up the remaining sprouts, remove the brassicas that the slugs did not want to eat over winter. And I've got a few swede here, which I'm going to harvest, chop up, put in the freezer, and might keep this Cavolo Nero. Who knows? Maybe I'll move it. But these 3 beds will be nicely mulched and, yeah, ready for spring. I don't know if you've noticed as well, but I've been purchasing some wood. So this will be for the shed build. There's quite a few 6 foot pieces of wood there. And also the daffodils are really, really coming up now. I'm really, really pleased that they're all starting to pop their heads up. And in the polytunnel, I've actually had to level over some of the pots because a squirrel has been in here looking for bulbs, thinking they're tulips, but he's very disappointed when he digs down and finds an allium. But yeah, he could get tempted, but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch those. I've also purchased 2 more of those circular out sunny raised beds. Now they're only small, but they're perfect. They are absolutely perfect for filling up with compost and then putting a teepee in the middle and growing sweet peas, French beans. Now yes, you could do it in the ground, but being no dig, I like to raise things up a little bit as well, especially with the hedgehogs. I don't want to be netting things, so I try and bring things up as much as I can so that they've got the bottom ground, all the little paths so they can wiggle around in. And then those are absolutely perfect. I had maybe 4 on the fig and olive plot last year, but the plan is this. I'm planning on putting 4 in a row, a bit like columns, and I really like the idea of having 4 in a straight row with gaps in between. Now I might underplant underneath. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet, so I might actually make a long bed first, then put the 4 in, raise the teepees up. And I mean, imagine this in summer, 4 massive columns here, and at the front of the plot looking down, it'll look absolutely fantastic. I don't want to put a full thing of runner beans. This bed here was initially planned for the runner beans, and then I thought it's going to become a wall. It's going to be a full wall. Now, don't get me wrong, lovely privacy, but that's a lot of growing space behind there, and it will shade out good 10 foot behind it. And also the polytunnel as well, you know, the start of the morning gets sure. This, of course, is going to start shading out a little bit. So I've decided I'm going to move the runner beans further down the plot, maybe just past the polytunnel down that area. So at least then whatever is shading behind will just probably just be storage area. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking, so if you're planning out your garden or planning out your plot, think of those plants that are going to be really, really tall, and make sure they're not going to be shading out things from behind. So I'm not saying you should chuck all the tall plants right at the back. I'm not saying that at all, because that's why I'm going to be doing the columns, because light can still get around. They won't be too intrusive. But yeah, last year I had 2 walls here of runner beans. Now they were okay, but the beds by here, they did suffer a little bit of light. I mean, summer comes, peak of summer, there's plenty of sunlight, plenty of warmth, but at the start, when they're first growing, you want to try and get those beds nice and warm. So I'm trying to be mindful this year of future planting. So the asparagus now is all bedded in nice. It's had a good mulch, like I showed last week. But these are the beds I was talking about. So I'm going to take this one up today. There's another 2 up there, but I'm going to leave one of them. This one's going though, because I want this bed to extend. There will be a divider per here, so that I know where the asparagus ends. And then this whole area here is going to be a new flower area. And this is going to be all the alliums, all the summer flowers like dahlias and whatnot. It's going to go here. That's the plan. These are going as well, and I might eventually put a long bed all the way down there, so that then I've got an area then at the front, which will hopefully be 3 foot wide, and I can put some hoops on as well to obviously net if I decide to put, like, you know, alliums and onions and things and whatnot in there. I don't, again, want to put something really, really tall in front of here, because obviously I want to be mindful of my plot neighbours' sunlight as well. So you need to try and be mindful of your neighbours as well. So, you know, as much as you want to have the most productive growing space, you need to be mindful as well, because you don't upset them, and then, yeah, the last thing you want to do is have a plot enemy. So yeah, try and be mindful of others as well. Yeah. Now this area is a bit of a mess, but remember the mouse hole? It's got bigger. Now, I'm a little bit worried that that's turned into a rat hole now. I hope it's not excavated down a little mouse out and there's a rat living in there now. So I'm going to put the nature camera up here today, and hopefully we'll catch what's moved in. Now I know I'm renowned for having 1,000 jobs to do, and I tick them off slowly, but I really do feel that progress has been made. And I would advise you, if you're feeling a bit crappy about your allotment plot or your garden and thinking, I'm just not at the same stage as I was last year, then that's okay, because I mean, things happen, but sometimes it's good to just look back at photographs as well and remind you, because at the moment, my allotment plots look horrific. They're just bare soil, mess everywhere, but I know as well by looking back in pictures how beautiful my plots can be and how beautiful they have been. So I'd advise you to do the same as well. Have a look through photographs, remind yourself, because if you're feeling a bit of a lull at the moment and feeling a bit like flat and thinking, I don't want to go to the plot, I don't want to go out in the garden, and I totally get it. I totally get it, but it's vital time now to be getting things prepared and mulched and ready for the growing period which is coming, because March is crazy. I cannot tell you, I'm forever sowing. Every week of March will be sowing after sowing after sowing. So yeah, if you've got those jobs, just get your wellies on, put your thick coat on, get a bobble hat, and just get out there. And even if there's a bit of sun, even if it's for half an hour, get out there, get it started, look through photographs and remind yourself how good your garden was and how good it's going to be this year, because I promise you, I've got a huge feeling this year is going to be a great season for us. I just know it's going to be a really productive year. I just feel it. So get out in the garden, go, go, go. Now, I wonder if any of the viewers can help me. So on these 4 beds, when I bought them, and I mean, they were a decent price. Now, these were supposed to be designed as high beds. I mean, these two were supposed to be attached to each other and they were supposed to be a good 4 foot off the ground. But you could have it in this option as well. But the only problem is they don't come with the rubber around the rims here. They don't come with the rubber. They never did. Now the ones at the back there and all, perfect. But what's happening is I'm catching myself on this metal here in my trouser. I've ripped 2 pairs of trousers already doing it. So if you've got any suggestions on what I can put around there that will last, I don't want to just put a bit of insulation tape because I know within a couple of months they'll become brittle and fall off. But if you've got some idea, then let me know in the comments where I can get like some kind of seal, just like this one here. But as you can see, look, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like this. And then all you do is run it around the top just to stop you from catching your trousers and your legs on it. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Now another plan is to build a nice archway here. Now I've been looking at loads of different designs. I was going to buy one which was very similar to the Fig and Olive, but I can't seem to find it anymore. But I want to build something very, very similar over here so that this will become the main entrance. Now I've decided that that's probably not enough space to go around there, so I am going to bring these 2 raised beds just up slightly, maybe half a foot or so, because I feel like that's too much gap in between the paths anyway. I'm going to bring those up so that there is more space. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can build a nice archway here. This will become the main entrance to this plot then. Now you can tell it's almost spring because look, the purple sprouting broccoli is really, really putting on a show now. I've got 2 of these plants which were accidentally planted, but I'm very, very grateful for them because this will all be harvested now, ready for my Sunday lunch. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I thought I planted all the shallots. I thought I've got plenty of shallots, way too many now. You never got enough of you, but look, I bought more. Now, I can't help it. Are you the same? You go to the garden centre and you think, I got to buy something. And I thought those banana shallots would be perfect because I'm going to dot them around one of the, one of the small beds that I've got. And yeah, they'll just be perfect just by dotting into spaces because they'll be handy then later on. And if you haven't tried growing shallots, they are absolutely phenomenal. They store better than onions, and also they've got a more milder taste, so they haven't got that sharpness, so they're great for sauces and for putting into pastas and things like that. They're just lovely. So if you haven't already, pop to your garden centre, get yourself some shallots. The banana ones I highly recommend. Right, I think I'm going to mulch this bed, harvest some veg, maybe mulch this one as well, just so that those jobs are done. And yeah, so let's go. Now I was going to put the Q4 compost on this elephant garlic bed, but I'm going to be using the magnolia manure compost instead because I think they'll benefit from that. Now I'm going to use my trusty hori knife. Now if you haven't got a hori knife and you want to invest in something, get one of these. Now you do feel a bit of a pirate in the garden. It is pointy and it is sharp, but I tell you what, it's perfect for digging, cutting branches and opening bags so easily. I absolutely love my hori knife, and this one I've had now for, God, a good year or two, and it's such a valuable tool in the garden because I very rarely use a trowel now unless I'm going to be digging a bigger hole. But for this, you can just dig in, plant, and it's perfect. And while you're digging down, if there's any nasty roots underneath, it'll cut through them as well. So look at a hori knife. God, that feels good. Now I'm not going to put a mass amount of this on, but I do want to give it a good mulch to cover the top of the bed because weed seeds, this will help now prevent all the weeds coming up by mulching the bed. Now I have got a spare elephant garlic. Now I've foreseen this issue of having a misfire in this bed. So I'm going to plant it here. Oh, I can see the problem. So this one is rotted. So it's a good job I dug down. Now they have grown roots, but the whole stem is rotted. So I'm going to mix a bit of this in so that I've got a bit more drainage, and then pop one of these in. So if you've got spares, or if you haven't, next year, make sure you keep some. The same here is rotted. Now if that happens, you can either add some compost into it to try and help with the drainage, or maybe add some perlite as well. That could help with the drainage in your soil. But I'm hopeful now we're over the huge amount of rain, and these now will do me proud. There's another gap there, but I haven't got any more elephant garlic, but I'm wondering whether or not I should put in a normal garlic just to use the space. Decisions. Now by looking at this, it looks like I've got 4 gaps. That's okay. It happens. I could put that garlic in, which I might do. My problem is that it's not a uniform bed, which doesn't matter. I'm being pedantic now. So again, I've got another big module tray here of garlic. Now this one is from Container Wise. I mean, this is a good 6-inch deep pot. Perfect for garlic when you grow in autumn. So I'm going to plant these in now, and we should have a full bed. But yeah, like I said, don't be worrying about leaving gaps just because you want to keep it all one crop. Yes, it looks lovely on your pictures, but you don't want to be wasting out that valuable space just for aesthetics. Now I'm in luck. I went into the polytunnel and I found some extra elephant garlic cloves. Now it might be too late for them, but they've got 2 chances. And also found a mono bulb. Now if you haven't seen these before, sometimes your garlic won't split because you've had a mild winter. Now you need that winter to kind of split this bulb up, and then it becomes separate cloves. So this one didn't split and it stayed like a mono bulb. But you can cook with these, you can use these, but if you don't want to, you can plant this up and then it'll split again, hopefully, and you'll get a bigger garlic. So I'm going to do that now and use the remainder of these up. So hopefully in summer these will come true. How lovely does that look now? All mulched. It's got a nice layer now of well rotted compost manure on there, and I will now feed into these garlic bulbs, and hopefully we'll get some amazing garlic this year. Now garlic didn't do too well on the fig and olive plot, mainly because I think I planted it with a bit of shade, but this gets full sun, a lot of drainage in some areas, but fingers crossed on this bed it'll be okay. But the grapevine plot, when I had that, I could plant garlic there, and I'm telling you what, it was the best garlic ever. I had so many amazing harvests. So I'm hopeful that we'll get the same here, and if we don't, I'll increase the drainage in here then over autumn by either adding a bit of sand or some perlite in, and then hopefully then it won't get so damp and wet over winter, which then rots the bulb. So, but I think it'll be okay. I think they'll be all right. Right, let's do a harvest. It's been a while.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling.
That's not a bad little harvest. I'm going to keep the sprout head. Now if you haven't done this before, steam this sprout head or cut it all up, put it with a bit of butter and some pepper. Oh, it's amazing. I'm also going to use the sprouts today, the swede as well for my lunch, and I'm going to go and have a look in the greenhouse, and hopefully we've still got some potatoes that I can harvest. Let's go have a look. Sadly not, because it looks like the mice or rats have got in here and eaten them. Now that's a bit disappointing, because I was hoping there'd be some pink fir apples there so I could plant out in spring. So I hope I've got a couple at home that I can actually plant, because I know there's a shortage of pink for apples this year. So I was kind of onto a winner thinking, I've got a bucket there. No, the rats had the bucket. So hopefully I can dig some out now. I've got a few more buckets, so fingers crossed. But if not, yeah, it won't be pink for apples this year, but we shall see. Right, fingers crossed. No. Oh, I'm not so much harvesting for eating now. Oh yes, okay, yes I am. But I was going to say that I'm only harvesting for pink for apples, so I can hopefully have a crop, just plant. But these will do just nicely, and as always, these are the Charlottes, and they're doing well even now. Please have some pink for apples somewhere. No, these are all Charlottes. Well, that's a disaster. So yes, it looks like I've got a shortage of pink for apples as well, but I have got a couple at home, just a couple, so I might be able to get 2 buckets to plant it. So I wonder what's happened to the pink for apples. They must have had a bad season like the lot of us, but yeah, Charlottes are always my favourite anyway, so I'm not so much worried about those. But I would have liked to grown a few more pink for apples this year, but it is what it is. Now, I can't complain about this. I mean, I've managed to get a Swede, some sprouts, some new potatoes in February, and I mean, they look grand. I mean, they look lovely. Just washed one off. I mean, see, they're still lovely, and they'll be great on the plate. And also the Swede, like I mentioned, and also the sprout head, which I'll steam and treat it like a cabbage. So I'm happy with this. And I remembered I was storing a calabash as well in the polytunnel, so we've got a cabbage as well. So it's not the biggest cabbage, but it'll do me well for my Sunday lunch. So yes, we're still harvesting in February. Happy days. I don't know about you, but there is something just magical about having fresh black compost covering a whole bed, nothing in it at all. It just looks beautiful, doesn't it? It's got that sign of hope for spring that's coming. So I'm pleased now those jobs have all been ticked off. There's loads more to do. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with them today, and hopefully the next time you come around and have a look at my allotment plot, we'll have some progress. I'm Danny, and this is Grow Up.